Thank you for watching another edition of College Block. Today I have a very interesting guest on my show. A gentleman that was introduced to me through some peers of mine. It turns out that my guest today has a book, and this is a book written, okay, by Mr. Paul Anthony Rivers. Okay, it's called Hustle: How to Get College Cash by Using Street Smarts. Now, when we use the word hustle, hustle means a lot of different things. So it's going to be interesting how Mr. Rivers explains his ideal of hustle and how this whole concept came about in order to help college students get money in order for their tuition. How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
All right. No, thank you for being on my show today. Well, first I want to just for you to give the audience some background on yourself, and then we'll talk about your book here. This is great stuff, man.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, again, my name is Paul Anthony Rivers. I grew up in the South Bronx. I grew up in a situation where I was poor. You know the story. Rats and roaches, roaches and rats. You know, poverty and booby traps. Growing up in a situation where there's nothing but obstacles.
Okay.
In the South Bronx, it was an obstacle course. But I was able to get out of the situation and put myself in a position to go to college. Graduated from college, got a degree. After 2 years after I graduated, I started a business helping students get money for college.
Okay,
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Now, your business, was this a business that you were doing within a university or college, or this was something that you had? Did you have your own office? You had your own location? How did that work when you started that business?
Okay, well, actually, it was my experience. That's what I got the foundation. I talked about I went to college, but the thing about going to college, you needed money. And like I said, I was growing up poor. So I figured out how the financial aid system worked, and I took advantage of it. And not only did I graduate with a degree, I accumulated 3 times the total cost of my education. And at that time, my education cost me $9,000. So I accumulated over $30,000.
Okay.
Today, that would be the equivalent to like $300,000. So when I graduated from college, my goal was always to start my own business. And this was an opportunity for me to get into a business where people didn't have the information. At the same time, I also gained some experience working at 3 colleges as a financial aid administrator. And that's what put me in a position to really, dig deep and help those students with all the information they needed to get a free education.
Okay, great. Well, you know what? This is, because as you know, this is College Block. So anything dealing with education and furthering education or enhancing education, you know what I mean? I got love for it. This is my thing. You know what I mean? So now let's dive into this book now. Now I've read the book, and I've read other books. Now this is not a hustle. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times people put information and they make up things, and you know what I mean? I'm not going to doubt anybody else's books and projects, but people make up things. You know what I mean? To make money and to try to sell the idea.
Exactly.
But a lot of material that you have in this book are real life experience, either from yourself or you're reflecting on other people's experiences as far as their journey to try to obtain cash and obtain financial assistance to go to college.
Right.
Now, like you said, your story is you worked, you saved money, and just give us just a brief synopsis again of your story and how your hustle allowed you to achieve your goals.
Well, the first thing, when I was on my journey to go to college, everybody gets excited about that. You're going to college, this is an opportunity to transform your life. But what's not discussed is the money aspect.
Right, correct.
So that was an obstacle when I first had the opportunity to attend college. I didn't know you had to have money to pay for it. So I took the advantage of getting the information first from the financial aid administrator and learned what type of funding that was out there which I can qualify for. I learned the rules and regulations that governs the whole financial aid process, and I took advantage of that. But the key thing was getting the information first, and that's what I did. I took advantage of all the different types of resources which allowed me to accumulate so much money while I was in school. So that was the most important thing in terms of my journey. You know, you have other people and other students had different situations. For example, in the book, I talk about a young lady named Mary Shadiah.
Yes.
Who was
interesting. I like that.
Who was an exceptional student who was accepted at Columbia University.
Yes.
But unfortunately, she wasn't a citizen. She was from Nigeria.
Okay.
So even though there was information out there for her to utilize, you know, information in terms of getting money for college, she didn't qualify because she wasn't a citizen. But that didn't deter her. That didn't stop her. Her goal was to go to college.
Yes.
So she took another route, which I call outside the box. A lot of times, you know, if you can't do the things the traditional way, you have to do things the non-traditional way.
Yes.
And she was really serious about getting her education. So what she did was she said, listen, I got to go where the money is. She went down to Wall Street with a sign, letting everybody know she was an exceptional student, was accepted at Columbia University. She had 1 week left to get $40,000. And she turned around and did that. Got $40,000 to pay for her tuition.
Right.
Which was an incredible story. And these are the stories that are in the book. You know, not just your traditional way of getting funding for college, but it's non-traditional.
Right.
And today you need both, because what's happening today, a lot of students are taking out loans.
Yes.
And they're limiting themselves with a certain amount of resources instead of thinking outside the box and taking another route to get other resources that are out there.
Right, right. So now that story, because that's one of the stories that actually stand out, you know what I'm saying, stand out in my mind after reading the book. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just flip through this here. Okay. Some of the things you have in here are starting from the beginning, what you must pay, mad money, federal loans, federal grants, state aid, college aid, employer paid tuition, private scholarships, military funding, tax relief, graduate aid, outside of the box fund, the grind, federal aid, get the cash, state aid, get the cash.
Yes.
College aid, get the cash.
Yes, it's all there.
Yes,
it's all there.
Yes,
I mean, and it's laid out for you.
Right.
You know, and what I've done with this book, first of all, I expose you to all the information that are out there in terms of the various types of funding.
Yes.
And the information that you was reading, that was pretty much the traditional resources that are available. You talk about the 8 major sources that you talked about: the private scholarships, military funding, you know, state grants, federal grants, you know, money from the colleges,
yes,
paid tuition programs. So all that information is laid out for parents and students to read the information. I took out all the technical part of this information because it's already complicated.
Right.
So I put it in layman terms on a 3rd grade reading level so you can really understand it. You know, it's precise and concise, so you can take advantage of all the information that's in the book.
Yes. Now, as far as a lot of the different resources that I just mentioned, I mean, realistically, you know,